Good morning, everybody on the stream on YouTube. Good morning to you guys here in Discord, David, Robert, Uncle John. Thank you guys for joining.
Okay.
My explain is still starting up with all that happened behind the scenes here. It's only getting going now, so have a look, see how soon that gets going. So, Uncle John received his PC back. It's all nicely upgraded. Congratulations, Uncle John. I hope you're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Thank you, sir.
And this morning we started talking about getting him back in the flow of things. He's been without the PC and without having flown now for 7 weeks, hey, Uncle John?
Yes, just a tad over.
You see, so I thought it would be good to do a bit of a little tutorial just to refresh his memory and to have something on record that he can go and refer back to of how we do this whole flight planning thing in the VA. So I'm just going to quickly run through that. We can actually start. I must actually just get my Edge broadcastable. Let's see. Good morning, Carl. Nice to see you. And good morning, Scotsman. So let's not waste time. This is the VA website. We're going to get going. So it all obviously starts with a desire to fly. Where do you start? Where do you go to get going? Where do you get the flight plan? All these questions we'll quickly answer for you. So under the operations, we've got flights. And there are a couple of ways of doing it. If you go to my flight roster, for instance, see if I can get that on the screen quickly. So in my flight roster, typically, you'll see there I put the VA flight number 2451, and that is the expected flight plan, the route. Okay. So what we're going to do is show you quickly how to pick these things. So I give you a flight number. You can obviously go to flight number and you can type in 2451 and do a search on it. And I beg your pardon, 2451. Oh, I didn't update that.
4251.
4251. Okay, dyslexic and all this morning. 4251. There we go. No, I still don't have it. Let me do this quickly. I know it's in my bids. I beg your pardon. I need to update that thing. Damn it. Thought I had it all so nicely done. Let's quickly go to bids. Pick up on it. Thank you, Cole. Thank you so
Childers
much.
donated $25 through SuperChat. Have at you. Take this if you dare. Lol.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. All right, so it's 4251. Okay, but this means that we actually have a double or something. Or maybe I'm just typing like my backside. Let me just quickly update this one. I mean, it's imperative that it works, right? So that is the flight. Let's just make a new tab so we don't have to wait so long for everything. We go to flight number 4251 and search on that one. There we go. Now it's got it. Okay, so I did something wrong. Uncle John?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you can understand that that was just a mistake. So once we have a flight number, we can search it if it's the correct number. Your alternative would obviously be to put in LFPG, select it, then go to EGGP. It's not typing, hang on. EGGP. And then we can just search it. That's loud, Uncle John.
No, it's gone now.
Yeah. Search it. That's loud, Uncle John.
What I'm trying to do, Nico, how do I do this? I need to turn the sound off on one.
Just all you do is on the YouTube, on the video, just click on the little speaker on the video on the YouTube.
I'm looking for it. Okay.
Usually,
yeah, got it. Yeah,
all right,
sorted.
cool. Thank you so much.
For that,
No worries, no worries. Like Scotsman says, the live stream will always mess with you, so we're going to try and fix it. All right, so we've identified the route. We got the route. It's there staring us in the face. So if you look there, it says add and remove bid. That's your next logical step. You're going to have to click it. I'm not going to do it because then it's going to remove it for me because I already put it in bids. Once you click on that, it will come up with a little notice on the screen. It's going to tell you the bid was added. You click on OK, and it will literally take you to your page with all your bids. Right, so once we are here, there are a couple of useful pieces of information that you can use to make your flight planning easier. If you click on the up-down arrow, it gives you like a synopsis of the flight. It tells you a recommended flight level. That is your block time. That includes like 20-25 minutes on the ground anyway, which means that you're looking at about a 1 hour flight. It's 345 nauticals. There's no special notes. These are all the aircraft that are allowed in the VA to fly this route. Okay. Then another thing, and I do recommend you use a right click and open in a new tab. Okay, it just makes my life easier. I hope it does yours too. When you click on the little eye, it actually gives you much more information. So it gives you like the route in a map form, gives you all the previous informations. You can then go to a particular airport, all those things. And then you can also find the weather on the right-hand side. So currently it is VFR at Charles de Gaulle. I mean, if you look at my screen there in the background, you can see there's no big issue there. And then very importantly, it gives you a METAR. So this METAR tells us 010 at 10 knots, which means I'm going to take runway 09. Just off the top of my head already, I know 09 or 08 will be the one. And it has to be the inner because it's Charles de Gaulle. Those are just things I quickly look at. Then on the arrival, you see there it's got 210 at 4 knots. So that's winds calm, which means we can land from any side. It's going to depend on the ATC ultimately, if there is any ATC, which runway they will give us. Look at the flight planning there. So for me, the next logical step is then going to be to come back to the bids page. I click on create SimBrief flight plan. Uncle John?
Yes.
Pay attention on the next screen. Specifically, there's two things I want to mention to you. I'm just giving you a heads up for that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I've selected my aircraft. That's the Zibo level up with 89 seats. We proceed to flight planning. Okay. Now, what you guys see here, Uncle John, specifically for you, this is our template for SimBrief. So whether you go to simbrief.com or whether you do it here, it's the same thing. There's no difference. It just looks different. Okay, so there's no point in opening simbrief.com because this page will talk to SimBrief and do the whole transaction for you. Now, I'm going to actually bring this over to the other screen to make it bigger and to show you how it all happens. So let's put it there, right? So on this page, you'll see that the VA has already given you your departure airport. It's given you your arrival airport. It hasn't given you the runways, but it has given you the basic flight route that we programmed into the system. It also gives you an estimated time of departure. You can make that anything you want, just change it. This time and all the information here is also going to be available when you do your planning for IVAO online. So we try to make it as automated and as easy as possible. Okay. So you can literally, when you are on this page, there's only one thing, Uncle John, that I would want you to change. If you find that the next version I'm going to show you in flight planning is too much, because that was a comment you made this morning, it's very long-winded, whatever. If you're willing to trust SimBrief, all you need to do is go to your step climbs. It says there, plan step climbs. Disable it and re-enable it. That unfortunately is a limit in the code of the VA. All right. Once that is grayed out, your flight level, and the step climb is enabled, all you have to do is click on generate dispatch. All right. And there you have it. So what's literally happening now is the website is going to SimBrief, it's doing the transaction, and you're getting your information back. Right, there you go. So if you click on display the OFP, it will give you the whole story. Now, if you look here in your routing, you'll see it has decided for us to use runway 09, right? And it has decided for us to use runway 27. Okay. So, Uncle John, this is the easiest way of doing it. Then you don't have to do the navigraph. You don't have to go into all that detail I showed you this morning. Okay.
Okay.
But the other side, or what, let me put it this way, the downside of doing this is you might end up with a wrong runway. That's all. That's about it. That's the worst it can get. And the
Yes,
other
I need to double check with regards to winds, etc.
exactly.
It complies.
Exactly. And then the only other thing, sorry, there's two things you don't get. Number one, there's no guarantee you've got the right runway. And number two is that you don't get a SID and a STAR because we
Gotcha.
didn't send the information to SimBrief. Now,
Gotcha.
I mean, it's up to you. You can actually download your flight plans from here. You can, in fact, start up. Let me show you the SimBrief downloader as well. I would highly recommend using the SimBrief downloader instead of the website to download, because here you can pre-program. Just get the mess off the screen. In this little application, you can pre-program everything. So if you click on export selected flight plan, it's already, it instantly goes and puts everything in the right folders for the right aircraft to just use the company route. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Now, for the guys watching and for myself, I'm going to quickly go back and I'm going to generate a new OFP, and I'm going to show them what I showed you this morning. And this can also then be a reference for you, Uncle John, you know, if you want to take it to the next step. Okay, so again, we choose the aircraft. What I then do is I go and I copy the flight route, get that in memory. So I use Control C, put it in memory. Then I go to Navigraph. And in Navigraph, I've already actually done some of it, but let's start over. Okay, so we're going to go for a new one. Going to say LFPG, EGGP. Hello, Eugene. Welcome. Right, so there you have it. It's basically, let's get it kind of in the middle, something like that. Okay. So it's basically giving you a to and a from and a direct to. Okay, so what we want to do is we go click on type route. Aviation, Chris, no. This thing can't give you wrong routes. It only gives you what you give it. So if you got a wrong route, then you gave it the wrong route in the beginning.
Makes sense.
All our routes, or now let me rephrase that. Most of our routes, especially the ones in the last year that has been inputted into the VA, is Eurocontrol verified if it's in Europe. So it's an actual, genuine, real world route. And all I want to do now, once I've copied this route from the VA, we go highlight the direct to, Control V, we paste the route that's given to us. We click on save. All right, and all of a sudden, there's your route, but you still don't have a SID and a STAR. Now, yeah, so SimBrief, Shayman, you know what? I read too fast. I apologize, Christian. SimBrief does sometimes give wrong routes. Navigraph does not. I was thinking of Navigraph. I apologize if I pronounced it incorrectly. But if you follow this methodology that I'm using right now, SimBrief will also not give you wrong routes. It only gives you what you give it. It's the same with Navigraph. So if you find the real world route or the correct route, exactly flight aware, wherever you get it, you can put it in here. And the process is what I'm trying to show you now. So anyway, I've put my route in there. And this is something we discussed yesterday with Kevin, or the day before actually, with Kevin and the guys using this Ivlosoft EFB that says it makes it easy to find the SID and the STAR. Navigraph desktop charts have gone through a lot of evolution on their site. They've really, really made it nice. So I want to show you before we get there. We need to get a couple of things straight. We have a flight plan, right? That one. We don't know the runways. I don't know the ins and outs of most airports. I just happen to know LFPG. But if we go to open the chart list and we go to the airport side of things, okay, I'm clicking there on the pin. It will then put it at the bottom for me over there, right? Just makes it easier to find again. So there you can see I'm already there, all right? So we can either recall from memory what the METAR was. Remember I said to you earlier in the stream, we're going to use 09, right? Just because of that METAR I read. But look at this. Here you can click on your METAR for your departure, and it will give you the options to click at the bottom if there's multiple runways, okay? Now, fair enough, we know that the 9 and the 8 are the ones that is preferred. I suppose we can use the 9 as well because it's exactly in the same. Yeah, 9, 9 right, 9 left, 8. They all are basically in the same direction. So it tells us there is going to be a crosswind component, all right? 2 knot crosswind component with a 9 knot. Am I reading that right? It's 2 on the one, 9 on the others. Okay, so what happens is from the arrow, I mean, just use visual. You can see that the 9s and the 8s are active, but we still don't know which one. This is why I first of all go and look at the layout of this airport, because here it shows me there is a 9 left, 9 right, 8 left, 8 right. I don't know where the 9 is that they're talking about. Maybe it's just a generalization. I don't know. So for our purposes, it clearly shows us that 09s is now the active runway. But there's another step to it, okay? Fair enough, we've got a 09 left and a 09 right, but which one? So in order for us to find out which one is going to be the actual active one before talking to ATC, before going and getting the ATIS, it's a good idea to go and look at the documentation. I think
The
I found.
arrivals.
No, this is for departure, sir.
Yeah, but that's the consideration, isn't it? You don't want to be coming on the you don't want to take off on the arrivals runway.
No, of course not. Of course not. So we're just going to quickly scan through. I know I eventually found it. It was somewhere here in the middle. Somewhere I found a little note that said the inners are always used for takeoff. This is just a little one-liner that tells you that. I would love to show it to you. I know it's in here somewhere. There's a departure, another one. If we can't find it. Okay, no, I'm in the safari. Let's just try and read up slower. If anybody else finds it before me, just shout.
You realise we've missed our slot.
That's okay. What slot are you talking about?
It takes this long to find out which runway we've got to take.
Yeah.
Departure. Missed our slot.
Oh, no. Don't worry. We own this world. We can do what we want.
Yeah, it's if you go right down, it's the second airport briefing from the bottom. It says airport. runway operations.
What's the number on that document?
It's 20-1P15.
Yeah, okay. So it takes a bit of, there we go. So, inner runway 08 left, 26 right, 09 right, 27 left is preferred for departures. That's all we need, all right. There will typically be a condition that says to you, if the wind is more than 5 knots tailwind, you have to change to the other one. I don't see it specifically here. There's also a time consideration. In some instances, they'll tell you between like 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. you're only allowed to use this and that runway. So it's imperative you figure these things out. If you don't have ATC and if you don't care, you don't care. I mean, it's just one of those things. You just don't care. But if you're going to fly online, it's nice to do your own homework. And then secondly, once you get to the airport itself, you know, and you're on VESAN or IVEO, you know, and there is ATC, he'll tell you which one to use. So it's going to be easy. But for our purposes, we know 09 right, and that's based upon the wind and based upon the SOP of the airport, right? Good. So the next step for us is to actually go and specify it. We have to tell Navigraph we're going to use 09 right. Just refresh this thing. To take 09 right, and then you see there's a little eye. You click on that eye and you have the correct configuration of your runway in there. It actually draws all your SIDs and stars for you. Okay, well this is the SIDs. It will draw the stars when we're on that page, but this is now all the SIDs. All right, and you can clearly see where we are going. We've got a ATREX 5G and an ATREX 5K. Don't know what the difference is between them, but that's taking us directly to that point. So all we need to do is go find them. And this, Uncle John, is one of the new things that Navigraph is becoming really better with now. In the old days, it didn't give you all the suggestions. Now that typically, I mean, it literally tells you 09 right to ATREX. Those are the two SIDs. That's your two options. Now you can physically click on them without selecting them, and it will show you exactly the path. See, so they've taken a lot of the guesswork out. It's easy enough. We want that one. The moment you select it in the little radio button, click there. You know, it goes and it puts it right where it should be. And now it's part of your flight plan. And then
Gotcha.
what I then do is I just go and show it to me, the overlay, and I put the pin in it. Right, so we've got the airport. We've got the departure if we need that information, and then we move on to the other side. And first of all, I want to know what's happening on the other side. I don't know the airport, I don't know the runways. So we're going to click on there. We're going to open the chart list. We're going to go to the airport chart. We're going to pin it for future reference at the bottom. And now we see there's a runway 09 and a runway 27. Okay, so we go to your METAR for the arrival. All right, so the METAR for the arrival shows us that there's been a wind change since we first did this test or this tutorial this morning, you and me alone. There's now a wind change. So now runway 27 is very definitely going to be the active one. There's no doubt about it. Over here you can see it's still 4 knots. Okay, 4 knots is winds calm. Anything 6 knots and below is winds calm. So you can argue the fact now you want to come from the other side, but why? There's no point. I mean, it clearly shows you that the predominant wind is coming from that side. So I'm going to stick to runway 27 then, right? Which means I'm going to go back to Navigraph, click on the little X to just close everything, make it easier for me to see. Now, the arrivals, it's already given us from TNT. That is TNT. That's the last waypoint. Tango, November, Tango. So from there on, we've got an option of 2 arrivals. If you click on it, it shows you. Let's take some of this away. So that will be the first option we have. If we use that one, that's our second option. That thing looks like little Bo Peep's little, sticks he used to catch the sheep with. But anyway. Right, so I don't like that one. We anyway know from the layout of the airport that runway 27 is going to be on the eastern side. We're going to fly east to west, so it's going to be on this side, which means that this one is probably the better one. I'm not sure. There's also no reason to force it. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Let's have a look-see. So now, if we click on the approaches and we see runway 09, we can change it. We want that on 27. Now I closed it. Right? So there again, it gives us a whole bunch of options of what to do. Now, if we coming from the western side, it means that we're going to have to either go over that airport or we're going to have to vector ourselves to come back somewhere on this side to go and land. So we'll have to see how this one works and then make our final decision. But let's go. We want ILS for 27. If we select LPL, you see it already draws it for us. The question is, if you come and you follow this line, it's going to throw you out on that side. How are you going to get there? So at the end of the day, I still think we're going to have to look at vectors. But the fact that I'm showing you this is to make you aware of the fact that you can physically see what is shown. See, now if we just close that there, that's the one to finals. So if we are really going to follow this star, I think we're going to go to the wrong side. So I might as well say, no, just get rid of it. We don't want it. And what then happens is we can fly directly from TNT onto finals over there. Okay? I think that's more logical than to go and faff around on the other side. Now, the kicker here is if there is ATC online, he's going to give you vectors anyway. So from the moment you leave that waypoint, you're under radar control. He's definitely not going to make you fly all those fancy loops and turns on the other side. He's definitely going to take you right there. Now let's see if we can actually make this thing a little bit more clearer. So if we click on show the waypoint labels, we see that one is CF27. Let's go to see if we can do this. So from TNT, we're going to go direct CF27. Let's see if it will actually draw it for us. There you go. So all we did now was we linked the two waypoints together, and now you have a full flight plan. Uncle John?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching.
Okay. Uncle John, it comes down to now basically using your experience, what you want. Do you really want to go fly all those loops or not? And then
No, I don't.
just linking them up. Okay. So I think that's about enough of the flight planning side. What I then usually do is I come here, copy it. All right. Once I've copied this, I go down, put it in there. Right, and the whole idea here is now we can link up 09 right as the actual runway. We can then remove the airport and runway is not important. We want the SID in there. The SID needs to be in there. If there was a star, which is now represented by the direct 2, the star and such, that needs to stay there. And then we're going to also set runway 27 for the arrival. And we're going to get rid of those things. All right. The time that we're going to fly, you can change to whatever time. But remember, once we send this to IVEO, it's going to use the time that's specified here. So just make sure you give yourself enough time. All right. The last thing that we can do, obviously, is we can just do this trick with the step climb. So you disable it, then you go enable it. This way, SimBrief will automatically give you a flight level based upon the winds and stuff. Okay. Now, having done all this, this is a much more accurate version of the first one where we simply came in and we pressed the button to generate the dispatch. It's a much more thorough, much more proper way of doing it. But it does take time, skill, experience, and knowledge to actually do all this. And I mean, don't feel bad if you can't do it. Just come ask questions, and we'll guide you. You're gonna do it 3, 4, 5 times, and you're gonna say, "Oh, okay, now I get it. I get it." It's it's just something that needs to snap.
You're
So the
on my.
last things. Mhm.
I said you're on my area of expertise today. I'm just saying I'm here if you want to ask a couple of questions.
And the man himself.
Okay,
Good
Gary.
morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah,
Good
well,
morning.
Talking about you.
I do flight planning for a day job, so if you have any questions, I'm
Yeah.
happy to answer.
Okay. Cool. Gary, you weren't here in the beginning, so let me just recap it. This is just basically for the benefit of Uncle John and obviously anybody else that finds benefit of this.
Yeah, no,
Watching
that's
this
cool.
thing.
I've actually been watching quite a while
Okay.
with the runway selection in Paris. Why there was 2 different SIDs. There's a nighttime and a daytime SID. Why does the teapot arrival and the keg on arrival into Liverpool?
Yeah.
Again, it's a nighttime and a daytime arrival. But yeah, no, continue on.
Okay. Speaking of that, I obviously did not go and read the charts for those arrivals. Does it actually say daytime or nighttime on the chart, or is it just in the SOP where you need to pick up on that?
No, if you go to the teapot arrival chart, if you bring it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove it just now. Well, that's not exactly the same one we had, but yeah.
Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, if you zoom in, you'll see now up above.
Yeah, I'm at the top right hand corner now.
No, you want to go to the Teapot 2 Golf Hotel Foxtrot one.
Hold on. Hold on. There's a 1 Echo and Depot 2 Foxtrot, that one?
Yeah, the Teapot 2 Fox chart, yeah. Oh, you're on. Yeah, the 2 Fox chart. If you bring up that chart, I'll show you.
Yeah, I didn't go into that much depth now with this.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I just mean that
Oh,
if
there you
people
go.
just zoom into the charts a little bit.
I've
If you
got
look
it.
at the top right hand corner of that chart and zoom into that, it says at ATC discretion, aircraft may be rerouted via the keg and star between 2000 and 0700 local time daily. Use the keg and star 10.2. Anyway, so it's basically a daytime and a nighttime star.
All right. Okay. I was aware that there are instances like this, but I wasn't aware that it would influence these particular ones. So thank you for pointing that out. I think that's a bonus.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's to get very technical, but if you're
Yeah.
on IVAO, you can't really go wrong for what you're going to fly, because I mean, just pick the most basic and simple ones, the ones that are
Yeah.
most direct, because we don't take the daytime, nighttime stuff into real consideration. However, if there's air traffic control online, and before you get to Trent, you'll be told which one to program into your FMC, so you're not going to fail either way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So there's another extra layer that I didn't even think about. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. All right. So I've removed all of this now. Okay. That means I have almost everything at ATREX here that we don't have a star. All right. Okay. So that takes care of all of this. All that's left for me to do now is again to just generate the dispatch. Now, so it's obviously going to overwrite the previous quick one where we just went in and clicked the dispatch and accepted it as is. All right, so now it's basically where I have it. If I now go and check the SimBrief OFP, you'll see it's exactly what we told it is what it gave us. We didn't rely, and I still feel bad, Christian. Sorry, I did answer you slightly incorrect earlier in the stream, but you were 100% correct there. SimBrief does not always give you the correct plans. It doesn't always give you the correct runways. It doesn't always give you the correct SIDs and stars and things like that. So you guys must be really, striving more towards learning how to do flight planning than rely on the automation. Anyway, that's just enough of that. We can see everything is exactly as is, and because of our integration, using the ZBMod template there that we created, all the weights and everything will be perfect for us. So that takes care of it. Now, in terms of the VA, once you are on this screen, and not before, please do not do it before, but once you are on this screen, you can now go and start your ACARs. And the reason I want you to do it this way is because at this point in time, there's a certain cache that was generated that represents everything you see on the screen now, the whole OFB, everything, and the flight plan that is to be used. So when you get to your ACARs, like we have here, I just want to move this out of the way, you can literally click on your magnifying glass, and there it is. These are your bits, but that's the one we were working on. Now, if we click on load, it will automatically fill the load, the payload for you. It gives you your flight plan and everything you need. All I do is ignore the light rules because that really drives me insane. And then, so there it is. I can then basically just click on start flight. Sorry, might as well show you. The moment I've clicked on start flight, it's now going to talk to the simulator, and there you go. All right. There's one more trick, Uncle John, I want to show you. This is just a cheap trick. Okay. When you use the SimBrief downloader, okay, and I'm not sure if they fixed it. If they fixed it, somebody needs to tell me because I haven't really looked into it. But speaking from experience, when you download an X-Plane 11 flight plan to your output FMS flight plans, this will not include your SID and STAR anyway. Give me a second. Wife's just said goodbye. She's going out quickly. Anyway, so this will not include a SID and STAR for you at all. It's just going to be a flat. This is the airport where you take off from. There's your route. There's the arrival. So what I do, this is my cheap trick that I do. Okay. I go and I open up my Navigraph desktop charts. This is the app that you get with your subscription. Okay. And again, this is just me. There's nothing wrong. It's not wrong doing it the other way. It's a question of literally, this is just how I do it. If I now go and I export this to X-Plane 11 in the FMS format, and I'm obviously going to overwrite it. Okay. This export will include my SID and STAR. And in a lot of cases, not all of them, it will also include your transitions. So when you transition from the flight into the STAR or from the STAR into the approach, there are certain transitions that come into play from time to time. And depending on how the actual read and write happens in the Navigraph desktop charts, it will give it to you or it won't. In some instances, like for instance, Glasgow will have a transition, and I'm just going to call it, let's say, Nico 1 or Nico 2. SimBrief and Navigraph desktop charts don't give you Nico 1 or Nico 2. That is still something that you have to go and do, but it's, few and far between then. But it does happen, so just bear in mind. So, Uncle John, at this point in time, we're ready to go, sir.
So let's get flying.
Okay. I hope that helped you a little bit.
Well, we've got a recording now, Nico.
Yeah.
And anybody gets stuck like myself, rerun it.
Mm-hmm.
The info's there.
Right, I'm just reloading the aircraft quickly.
It's nice to have you back, by the way, Gary.
Good to see you, boys.
Gary?
We have met you a few times.
Yes.
I see the world server is still off. I was under the impression that we need to test it now, but they've taken it offline now for 2 days. Is it coming back soon? Do you know anything?
It will be. They just put it up for a bit of testing just for the weekend, I think, and then they're just going to just debug it, and then it'll be coming back.
Okay.
It'll be launched over the next actually, I can't give you a time frame on it, but they are doing a lot of testing of it. But just for your day-to-day flying, just still originally connect to the normal server. So unless they're gone and we're on the world ones.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just noticed something interesting. Just want to quickly have a quick look here. Okay, now I don't know how this changed. This is like really weird. The landing rate monitor. Look what it looks like now. Something changed there. Wow. I think that's why so many people said they can't see it anymore. Why would it
I
do
am ready
that?
for electrical power up procedure.
Guys, the Leo's on board.
This is interesting. Oh, it's like it's not finding the background image either. Not displaying it properly. No way. Okay, I won't waste time with that. Sorry guys, the landing rate monitor will obviously not work. Somebody mentioned a day or two ago that they didn't see it. Very interesting. I've also noticed it. All right, one more thing, gents. One more thing, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot we can go plan or need to plan the IVEO. Okay, so for those of you that are IVEO members, all you need to do is at the top of this page, you see there somewhere, it says plan ATC to IVEO or plan ATC to VESAN. It will take you to the online booking system. And you can just go and do that. The one thing that you need to look out for, Uncle John, are you still here?
I am, yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
watching.
One thing that you need to look out for is when you see the flight level, the program will only send the initial flight level. So if you have step climbs, you're going to have to go and find your step climbs here in your OFP. You see that it starts at 18. Your first initial climb is 18, and then you end up at 34. So when you do your flight plan, make sure to double check that so that you actually just put the correct flight level in there. Especially when you fly between Dublin and Manchester and back. I think your initial flight level is 9,000 feet, and after reaching 9,000, you climb to 23,000. But a lot of guys, I've seen them actually in our group flights, they get stuck at 9,000 because that's the one they perceive. Okay, so just make sure it's almost at the top. All right, there it tells you your flight steps. Make sure you just put the right thing in. Once this is in, the only other thing, gents, that you need to remember is because of, again, a programming limitation, just remove the leading 0, because in the Skymatix VA, we only have 3 numbers at the end, not 4 at this point in time, okay? We need to get 1,000 members to start using the 4. But for now, drop the 10. You can submit your flight plan, delete the old one or archive the old one. At least once that's out of the way, you can then go connect, pick your server. And there we go, we're online. There we go. All online, all good to go. Sure. Christian, are you still there? Are you still here?
In Discord.
Don't think he's here anymore. Might have left. Okay. Right, okay, so let's go grab this. Uncle John?
Yes, sir.
This is the next step. So we're going to use the OFP now, and we're going to look at the payload. I'm going to just make it a bit larger, easier to read. Right, so under your weights section, you've got the payload, 16.5. Right, okay. Thanks, 737, and welcome. All right, so Uncle John, again, this is a personal choice. You don't have to do this. The Zebo is quite capable of flying without making this modification. But I usually take 500 kilograms from the front and I put it into the back. And the reason is I want my landing CG to be more stable. It's the only reason I do that. So if you subtract that, it ends up with 64, 164. Right? And then we add it on there, it's 1405. Okay, so it balances back to the 16.5. Okay, so all it does for me is it just makes my landing more stable. That's all it does. All right, you guys are welcome to do it or not do it. Don't break your neck over it. Then the next thing that we're going to take is the fuel. Right, and then we just
Ground flight deck
fuel
hose is connected and starting refueling.
Right, so we haven't done that yet. Do we have a GPU?
You got a good tip. A good tip I normally find for people and what the real world guys do. If you go back to the OFP, if you don't mind, just for a quick second, I'll just show you a quick tip that I usually use.
Mm-hmm.
And go up to the main page of the OFP where the cost index, the block fuel, just the main part of it. We're just waiting for it to come up on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, on this page here, you'll see the zero fuel weights. You'll see the cost index.
Ready
Just
for
scroll down just
preliminary
slightly for the fuel
procedure.
figures. You put in 5.1 as your fuel figure. All right.
Yeah.
The real world guys, I'm just still waiting for it to come up. Okay, so your block fuel is actually 5140. So 5.1 is actually less than what you actually require. You actually need 5.2 to cover that. However, what the real world guys do, they always round up to the nearest 100 plus add 100. So if you have 5140, you round up to the nearest 100, which is 5.2, and you add 100. So you should be putting 5.3 as a minimum of a block fuel on that flight plan.
Yeah, Gary, our biggest problem, my biggest problem, being involved with Zebo and Level Up and all the other projects that we do and flight training here is the following. Okay, so it's all very well the real world guys do that, but in the flight simulator, 8 out of 10 people that I've had the pleasure of training, if you don't give them the same values to correspond to what they see on the screen, if the two things don't match, it's like they lose the plot. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So there's no point in us training flight sim pilots when what they see on the one screen is not what they see on the other screen. I've given up on that completely. Guys like Christian here on the stream that seems to have left now, I mean, he's one of those guys. It needs to match. And if it doesn't match, there's 100 questions. And it's a waste of time. It's a total waste of time to try and explain to people, these things. So yes, thank you. It's really nice to know. I'm not, being nasty about what you said. It's nice to know. But
that's fine.
In terms of flight simmers, they want to see the same value on the one page as to the other page. And when we do the FMC programming now, okay, and this is why I use this weight section, you'll see that we programmed it to specifically match the fuel. I'm talking nonsense. The zero fuel weight will specifically be exactly the same value on the paper
up and you are good to go.
as it is in the Zebo mod. And for some reason, when that happens, everybody's happy. And that's just where I stop. I said, okay, well, fine. That's it.
Yeah, I completely see where your simplification is on it. Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't want to. Obviously, what I said is what they actually do, but I see your reason for simplification, and I see my reason for, just putting it how it is in the real world. Anyway, each to their own, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. Right though. Scotsman, I always take a lot extra just because it's a sim and I don't care about my carbon footprint. Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't care if we're smoky. We don't care. Right, so let's quickly get the rest of the stuff going.
Right, guys, I'm just home from work and I'm gone to bed. I just came on the stream because it was interesting. I wanted to just see the flight planning tutorial, which is I think is a great thing for you to be doing to show the Zevo guys, just to get them into what you've shown them is very simple. How just to get the basics done. There is obviously ways to go more technical about it if you need to, but I don't think you need to go that far, especially for the basic tutorials part of things. But yeah, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'll catch you guys later and enjoy your flight.
And we're always
100%.
grateful for you popping in.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Have a good day and I'll speak to you soon.
Take care.
I want to show you something else. While we're on this, Gary, have you got another minute?
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
I want to quickly show the guys something else. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to redo this flight plan then. It's okay, I'm going to redo it. I want to show you this. Okay, so in terms of regulations and laws and everything else that goes and comes with this. Why is it showing it like that? Sorry, guys. Okay. There are certain FAA and ICAO rules and all this, the other regulatory bodies in between. Okay. Each one, depending on the territory you fly in, the license that you have in the real world, there are certain requirements for you to carry a certain amount of extra fuel. Okay. Now, when we go to this flight planning page, we didn't talk about this. Okay. You see there, we've got the cost index of 20. Okay. Now, in terms of contingency, okay, you can actually, what Christer was referring to there, you know, and what Gary was referring to put extra and things like that, you can already start in the planning phase. So what we used to do, and I don't know why I stopped, it's just something, one day I didn't think about it and the next day I didn't think about it and it just went out of my mind. You can actually add 5% or 15 minutes for contingency right there. Okay. So by doing that, you can already increase. So instead of sitting in the cabin and then adding extra, you know, and then putting extra, throwing the OFP values out, okay, you can actually start setting it up here. Your fuel reserve, you can actually set it up here. Now, both FAA and ICAO requires you to have a 30-minute fuel reserve while circling your alternative airport, your alternate, okay? And that is why in the VA it's set to 30 minutes. That's already included, okay? So it carries enough extra fuel to fly from your destination where you can't land because of weather or whatever to your alternate destination and to give you a 30-minute circuit at that airport, right? If you want to add a little more, just drop it here. I mean, so the default is 3% or 5 minutes. I'm going to put it on 5%, 15 minutes. So this already increases a little more. And the only reason I'm showing you this is because this kind of facility is already available in SimBrief. It's already available in the VA. And remember, this page is just our interface to SimBrief. If you go to SimBrief, you'll find exactly that same thing right there. That's the whole point of it. So Gary, sorry, I just wanted to mention it, that we've got some facility in here, just for your benefit as well.
Yeah, no, I completely see that. And let me just delve a little bit deeper into the contingency fuel and what the requirements are most of the time. Some airlines will have a 5% contingency or a 5% or 15 minutes contingency, whichever is smaller. And the reason what the contingency fuel is, it's 5% of your trip fuel, right? So if you're doing a really short flight, say from Dublin to Belfast or Liverpool to Manchester, 5% of your trip fuel, if the trip fuel is only, let's say, 500 kilos, right, it won't actually amount to 15 minutes of contingency fuel. So the option of 5% or 15 minutes will always default it to 15 minutes if your contingency fuel or trip fuel is less than what 5% would be for
Makes
15
sense.
minutes, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does make sense.
Okay, so it's good to have it on the 5% or 15 minutes. When you start going down to the 3%, the regulations is you must have a fuel en route alternate on your flight plan. Okay, and that basically means, for example, just to simplify it, if you're going from Dublin to London and you have a 3% en route alternate, you need to nominate a fuel alternate which is within a certain range of your destination airport. For example, Manchester, right? So you can carry less fuel and bring the contingency down to 3%. But what that means is that when you're overhead Manchester, you need to now make a fuel calculation. Is my fuel above or below what I'm expected to be at this specific point? If it's above, you continue. If it's below, you divert into your en route alternate airport for a fuel stop. But most airlines only use that for weight saving if they're on really long flights and they need to reduce the takeoff weight because they're almost on limits. They will use those things. Now, most of the time you'll get away with stuff like that, but I've just simplified it down. You'd never use a 3% for Dublin to Stansted. It'd be more like a
Ground flight
Dublin
info
to
disconnected and
Dubai
starting
or something, and
refueling.
you'd have a 3% en route alternate at Athens or something to say this is our fail safe. Do we have enough to continue or do we not? So stick with the 5%. And also correctly what Nico said regarding the 30-minute reserve fuel, that is a legal requirement. It's 30 minutes reserve fuel at 1,500 feet in ISA conditions over your alternate airport, that if you were stuck and you couldn't land at your alternate airport, it usually amounts to about 1,000 kilos of fuel.
Yep. Yep. All right. Now you can go sleep. Sorry for
Ground flight
holding
deck
you back a
fuel is
little
all
bit.
loaded up and you are
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Always happy to give my few cents here, even though it's sometimes it can be more complicated, or sometimes I can simplify it. It depends what you're talking about. But yeah, no, it's good that you're teaching all these guys, the simple stuff. But we can do another video and go into the more technical sides of things in the future.
Absolutely. We will. We will. Gary, thank you for
And
your time.
just
And
watch that center fix 27 portion on your flight plan because it's picked up East Midlands or
I've
something.
fixed
Yes,
So
it
it.
has.
I've just fixed it. No, I've just fixed it.
okay,
You'll see
yeah,
it
I
will
see
come up
that. I
on the
see it.
screen now.
There we go.
When we do the programming, we'll fix that. The funny thing is, in Navigraph, it looks perfect in Navigraph. But in terms of when we take it out of Navigraph into any of these other things, you'll see it. You should see it already. I've just fixed it.
No, I do. I see it now. But what I would recommend is never put a final approach fix on your actual flight plan that you file.
Yeah, I
So
know.
what you should have done is, if you weren't wanting to follow the star or you wanted to go from TNT straight to the central fix, your flight plan should have finished as the route part at TNT and
Yeah,
then just being direct.
yeah.
Because you're always going to line up with the runway at that the
I
final
know.
approach
I
fix
know.
anyway.
The only reason I did it was to draw the line. That's actually the
Yeah,
whole
yeah, no, you were
story
just doing it
behind
as
this
a
project.
visual thing for the guys. I completely get why you did it, yeah.
Okay.
All right, listen, guys, I won't delay any longer. You guys enjoy your flight. I'll speak to you later and have a good one.
You
Be
too.
back soon, Gary.
I'll see. No, I will. I'll see you soon, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good night and God
Bye.
bless. Bye bye. Bye bye.
So there we go. Just doing this Avitab map quickly. We can get rid of that. Okay, wheels a little bit later. That's not important. Right, let's quickly have a look, see where we're at, what we need to do. So we are in an interesting position. Okay, let's just see, do we have any ATC here or not? Nope, no ATC. Hey, Bob. Welcome. Yeah. No. Well, stick around. We'll make you famous. We'll help you as fast as possible and get you flying on our way as soon as possible, and then enjoy everything with us. Right. So we need to go. Oh, there's David already. Sorry, David. You're welcome to go. Huh?
Yeah, no dramas. Yeah, all good.
Yeah. Okay. I need to go that way. How far do I need to push?
Oh, David.
We can do that. Okay. Fabiola, good morning. Now you make me want to go back and see. I didn't even pay attention. Yeah, snow's gone. Yeah, you're right. So, no, we did that. We did that. Pushback is next.
Run to cockpit. Blood or knowledge. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Yes, we do have that. Okay. Checking that. Okay. I'll be out of here in about 10, 12 minutes. The rest is easy. Now, for those guys who always ask, how do we program the FMC? And I always turn around and say, I say to them, it's all about the flight planning. Start with good flight planning. Now you know why. Because once you've done your flight planning, the rest is easy. It's fill in the blanks. But if you don't have a proper flight plan, there's no ways you can fill in your FMC. If you don't have that OFP available, you're kidding yourself. You're absolutely kidding yourself that you're going to program the FMC properly. You can do halfway and get away with it. That doesn't mean it's proper. But from here on, it's just easy. Alright, I'm just checking the airport elevation, 81. Good. Right. That's done. Okay, while I'm thinking about it. I was watching another guy's stream last night when I couldn't sleep, and he's got exactly the same problem as me. Also, don't know why, but it was quite interesting, Uncle John, to see that he's got the same rudders and he has to do his calibration as well.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And yet I don't have a problem at all with it.
Yeah, but you don't have the same rudders.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, got you. I'm awake again then.
Okay. Right, I think we've done a lot. Let's quickly do that FMC. Hello. I remember that. That was one of my favorite TV shows for a long time. Old Renee. Right, I'm not going to program, you know what, let's program the VOR there for the arrival, but we're not going to program the LS because we still don't know exactly what's going to happen with the winds. Oh, there is no VOR. Not that I can see. Okay, so it's irrelevant. Okay. LFPG. Remember now, I did the export from Navigraph desktop charts, right? I'll show you exactly what I mean, and then you could compare it with what you get if you just do a normal export from either SimBrief or whatever other program you have that doesn't support the full FMS file format. Activate. Right, so if we click on departure, you see there it's already telling us 09 is active, and there's our SID already. It's all pre-programmed. All comes from that export just by doing it through Navigraph charts. If we go to the arrival, same thing, ILS 27 is active. And you see, now this is exactly what I said about Glasgow. Now we've got an LPL1 and an LPL2, and I'll tell you the difference between them now. Let's just go see that it gave us, oh, you know what, we did not take a star, so it's absolutely perfect. Okay, so what happens is if we put this into the FMC and you go step through your plan in the ND, and you will see then the one turn radius is larger than the other one. And if memory serves me right, LPL, the first one, doesn't matter what the name is, the first one is usually for jets and the second one is for propeller aircraft, you know, like your Dash 8s or whatever. So they fly much slower, they've got a smaller turn radius, and so they get a shallower kind of a loop. But that you can have a look at, you know, on your own time. It's just the difference between jet and prop mainly. So then we can go to exactly the step through. Let me get rid of that. Step. You see now, even this did not pick up on the CF27 in the wrong place. It's actually got it in the right place. There's no anomaly. Let's just increase our visual range and just make 100% sure that we don't end up at another airport. See? Good. Perfect. Bob, yeah, I'm not sure. Everything works except those pedals. I've actually now changed the USB port where it connects to. It still does it. I downloaded the actual Thrustmaster software. I've installed that. I've calibrated it with it. It lasts for like 2-3 days and then it's back. Then you have to recalibrate it again. So I've given up. For me, I just have to remember now to calibrate it. And then the other thing is I've got an X52 joystick as well when I fly the helicopters. And that thing, if you don't calibrate it before every flight, you can't fly the helicopter. It's impossible. It goes totally wonky. I've just got to learn to live with it, I suppose. Guess about 186. Ouch. Sorry, Scotsman. Alright, so let's come back to what we were talking about, the flight simmers and their desire to have the correct values. Which makes sense. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but let me show you. So if you enter the correct values and you have the correct Zibo template set up, SimBrief in certain situations will be out by like 100 kilogram. And the reason is they're using a different rounding formula than what Zibo uses. But mainly you'll see your zero fuel weight as it's given here on your OFB is going to match your zero fuel weight over there. The trick that I showed, it was a stream or two ago, that sometimes happen is you lose that little number at the back. It's like off by 100 kilograms. And all I do is I add 10 kilograms to the rear galley, and it's perfect, it works. So we now see that the zero fuel weight is 60.1, that's what the OFP tells us. The other thing is we can look at our takeoff weight, 65.6, we've got 65.7 over there, and the difference is the taxi fuel. Right, this value, takeoff weight, is measured at the runway threshold as you get on the runway to take off, so it does not include the taxi fuel, whereas the actual aircraft now contains extra 100 or 200 kilograms for fuel. Right, so easy as that. Let's go up. Right, so our reserves is going to be the alternate plus the fin race, so it's about, I would say, 1.7 rounded. 7, and we can use a cost index of 20 because it tells us 20. We're going to cruise at 340, so it tells us 340. 025 at 23 and -8. Uncle John.
Yes, sir.
Are you still awake?
I'm still awake, sir.
Okay. Just checking.
I only sleep at night time.
Okay. Yeah, I know why you're saying that. But the reason I'm asking if you're still awake is I hope you're still learning or picking up on some things to refresh your memory.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I've got the backup of being able to run it back as well.
Yeah. I just don't want you to lose it because I go too fast or something.
No, not at all.
All right, okay.
Ready for pre-flight procedure.
All right, there we go. And I'm out by just one on my guess. It's that. And we need to have 525. Will it then not do the fine tuning?
Has David already left?
Yeah, he's taken off.
Yeah, sorry. I had a big taxi from the other side of the airport, but yeah,
Okay.
I thought I'd just better get going. Engines going, all that jazz.
Yeah, sorry about it. I didn't exactly plan it initially, but when I saw the value for Uncle John, I thought some other guys can also pick up, some
Yeah,
tips
no,
and things there.
that's good. That's good.
Right, I'm starting my AP. I'm going to close the doors. Pull the pushback.
Run to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't mind. The galley wagon has been running up and down the aisle there, so we're going to get going now. And that is unfortunately one of the problems with a tutorial. I mean, how do you break a tutorial like that down to 5 minutes? It's impossible. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's not done.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Before start procedure.
Before start procedure.
Scotsman, tell the hostess to come and fetch the stash here in the cockpit. We've got some here behind the chair. So you must just come fetch him. You'll get more whiskey. We're not shy to share.
Before start procedure complete.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Ready for before start checklist.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine. N2. Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine. N2. Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Standby.
Also be used as RAS. This aircraft has escape path lighting in the eye. Red lights or an exit sign will indicate you have reached an exit in an emergency.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal of the left. We'll see you next time and have a sad flight.
Thank you, Mr. Pushback guy. Here we go.
Taxi lights on. Flaps 10 set.
Good morning.
How's it going?
I need you, Kevin.
Ready for before taxi procedure.
Oh, that's what I like.
Flaps
I like
5
to feel
set.
needed.
He's texting you. Hey, I'm Kevin.
Okie dokie. Okay, John, do you want to nip up to another room and we'll go through it?
Just quickly, and then we can pop back here. Yes.
Okay, we'll go up to Zebo FBO then.
You go, I'll follow.
And this is our turn-off. Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before takeoff procedure complete.
Have a good flight.
Ready for before takeoff checklist. Stabilized.
Approaching 09 right. On runway 09 right.
Takeoff thrust set.
Right, yoga.
80 knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Get up. Yeah, I liked it myself.
Acceleration altitude. Approaching transition. Transition altitude. Flaps upset.
And now everybody's quiet. Are you all okay?
Yeah. I'm drinking coffee. I was thinking about the problem I had sometimes.
Flight level 100. Landing lights
And that
switches
is
off.
where to find the taxi flow for the airports.
If you have Navigraph desktop charts, in the desktop charts there's usually taxi information. If there isn't information, then yeah, it's a bit difficult. Yeah, well, I hope I get a stake sometime soon as well, yeah, Bob. What file are you asking about? The actual config file goes into my documents as far as I know, but you never worry about that. What other file are you referring to, Scotsman? Or am I talking about the right one? Don't use that file then, just delete it, Scotsman. Delete that config file and set it up via the ACARS itself. Go to settings, fill in the blanks. Once you save it, it will make the file that it needs. You don't have to download that file then. Lister, are you here?
Oh, yes, sir.
When we look at this Ivlasoft EFB,
Yeah.
we look at the approach. Where do we find the minimums for decision altitude? Does it actually give it to you or not?
Yes, it does.
Wait.
Hold on. You see my screen?
No, no. Okay.
Yeah. Here I've done my fully planning, departure and arrivals and everything I need. Yeah. But now I press the arrival. Down there, there's a green button, approach. Here you have it.
Yeah, I don't see the minimums. I see everything is here except minimums. It doesn't tell you
Cat
what you
1,
want.
Cat 1, 350 feet.
No, that's the RVR.
No, that's 550 meters RVR. And the 350 feet minimums.
Because when I look at my chart where I'm going to land now, the actual minimum is 278 on a Cat 1. Okay, I see what they do. They round it off. So it says 280 in Ivlasoft, but it's 178 in Jeps. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It rounds it off.
They don't match exactly. I can't say, but for me, I'm an experienced flyer. I don't really need to a 78 or a 350. It doesn't matter for me. Sort of. So the important thing is though the RVR 550.
Yeah, I see that's the same. That's why I recognize that as RVR, but okay, I can live with that. I can live with that.
Yeah. So that's the important thing to know. The visual range is an absolute demand. So, but then the minimums, if I have 278 or 350, it really doesn't matter. And but the radios are coming up. If I have a radio minimum, it really shows.
Thank
really
you.
shows. Yeah. You're welcome.
I see we just missed a tower. There's a tower now at LFPG. Okay.
Hello, Nico.
Hello, hello.
I did not have any important program for the push to talk, so I was not able to
No, that's fine. That's fine. You made it. Yeah.
The Dr. John finally was able to configure his computer.
Yes, but I think there's still a few things he needs done. In this stream and just before the stream, I tried to help him to just get back into the flow. You know, he hasn't been with his computer for like 7 weeks. You know, so we talked about a few things, flood planning wise and things like that. I've no idea what him and Kevin are discussing upstairs, but you know, they're still continuing. There's still 1 or 2 or 3 things that needs to be done on that machine.
Clear.
will be nice to see Uncle John flying again.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Thousand to level off.
1,000 to go.
My friends on the stream, you are so quiet. Are you guys okay?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Hmm.
I just don't have any questions right now.
You don't have to
No.
have questions. You can just talk.
Just talk.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell you I got my new airport yesterday for Copenhagen, the flight Tampa.
Okay. And do you like it?
Oh, very much. Oh, yes, sir.
That's the one that I'm using as well.
Yeah. But I need to edit gateway. That's wrong. That's all.
Okay. I wouldn't know any better. I just enjoy it.
It's Charlie 35.
Okay.
If you put your aircraft on that, you get a jetway inside the passenger areas.
Oh.
So I need to edit the I think it's the wheels I need to edit.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But it's very nice. I like it very much. And you also get the points of interest all over the city. And you get mesh, corrected mesh, and all the buildings are correct placed in the city.
Nice.
Yeah, and some really nice vegetation, trees and stuff.
Yeah, I bought that just when it came out. I had to have it. That's one of my favorite destinations.
Yeah. And this update I got now, version 2.1, also includes a season for winter season, if you like. You can easily change for the winter seasons.
Nice. Ja, Tyrone, me too. I'm really glad. Need to get my energy levels up a little bit, but other than that, I'm going strong.
Have you had before any issues that you see some pixels in different colors inside the airplane, like in the FFV, EFD, END, etc.?
Probably 3 years ago we had an issue with one of the NVIDIA drivers that did that, but other than that, no.
Yeah, because today it happened for the first time.
Okay.
Everything was fine, then I have some slowness and it started to happen that now.
Using NVIDIA or AMD for the graphics?
NVIDIA, no? And it was working pretty well all these days. Just now on this flight, it happened. I published the picture. I don't know exactly what was the cause, but everything else is working fine.
Okay, no, that's interesting. I haven't seen that in like 3 years at least. Which version of the Zebra?
I have the latest one. I think it's the 343.3, I think, or 2. I don't remember.
50,
But, yes,
52.3. Yeah.
52.3, yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. Yes. Might want to uninstall that driver and get another new one or something. Try it.
Yeah, I will see that. I didn't want to start again the flight, so I continued. So I will probably try.
Yeah, you can do it afterwards. Tyrone, I remember when I started flying the MD-11, one of my real-world pilot friends actually gave me a tutorial to get that thing going. And I made notes like crazy to try and remember how to fly an MD-11, because there's a lot of things that you do in that thing that you don't do in a Boeing, for instance. So, shame, man. Go to YouTube. You'll have to start watching some videos. Check what the guys do. I watched one last night. The guy I referred to having to do the calibration on his pedals as well. And tell you what, it brought back memories. I won't be able to fly the MD-11 now. I'll have to go and get retrained. You know, to get all the nitty-gritty things under the wings again. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. David, I see you are already almost there.
Yeah, what have we got? Can't read it, hang on. $22 to go.
Okay, good luck. Enjoy. What do you mean it's wild in the air? Sorry, my ignorance, pardon me. But does it not follow LNAV, ENAV? What does that mean in your mind? Sorry. Yeah, Zebo's cool, if I say so myself. But now the other question is, did you update your MD-11? Because they released an update yesterday, or the day before. It's very recent, you have to update it. Okay, that's weird. So the guy I watched yesterday, he seemed to have flown it reasonably well. I didn't watch the whole thing, I never saw him land. But I watched until he was fairly well on his way. Interesting.
Ready for descent procedure.
I have 44 nautical miles to go for top of the sea.
Yeah, I have 418.
Where are you off to?
I'm flying into Reykjavik, Iceland.
Nice.
Yeah.
Scotsman, the only reason it will do that is because your plugin inside of X-Plane is too old. You need to go to your ACARS folder, find the X-Plane plugin, copy it, and take it into the resources plugins, overwrite the old one, and then you should be fine. Tester.
Oh, yes, sir.
I can't remember who it was, you or Kevin, said that you cannot auto-tune your frequencies via the iBlosoft EFB into the ZPO. If I understood it correctly, was it you or Kevin?
I think it was me, yeah. But that's true. That's one of the limitations with the Ablesoft.
I've just done it. Mine works.
Oh, congratulations.
Have you got XP UIPC loaded in your system by any chance?
No, I don't.
That's probably why.
Yeah, but that XUIPC is actually for MS 2020.
No, XP UIPC specifically for X-Plane. FS UIPC is for Microsoft.
Sorry. I'm getting confused.
No problem. Yeah, mine worked. If you look at my screen now, you'll see COM1.
Yeah.
Con active. Switches.
Oh, good.
Bring it straight from the air.
Oh, I think I have to install that again.
If you want a copy of mine, I'll send you.
Please do.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest because there's so many weird and wacky versions of it out there.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why I removed mine last time. So, yeah.
The only thing that you will have to do is to set up your own IP address for your network card.
My own?
The IP address for your network card. I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah. Okay. I think I managed, but please do. Do you have it in your hangar?
No, I don't. I've now tried to zip it up for you quickly, but it says it's in use. I can't do it. So let me just land. I'll do it for you, and then I'll put it somewhere where you can grab it.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. It's really handy sometimes.
Scotsman, not sure. when it opens up the first time, does it ask you to update? Did you do the update? Did it not ask you? The current
top of
ACARS
descent.
version is version 1.0.0.2030. So if you're on that one and you've got the corresponding plugin, it must work. Scotsman, if all else fails, come to Discord after the stream or try and help me. Yeah, that's very important, Krista. He did ask if he maybe needs a new code. Just make sure that you don't have any spaces or weird characters in it, you know. Marco.
Yes, here I am.
I'm just curious, how do you find the VA so far? Do you like it?
Yes, really true. Yeah, I really enjoying it. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Steve. Yeah, everything is okay. We're getting a block now. It's a bit change of season and this other nonsense with allergies.
No, everything, all the support in general, is pretty amazing, and learning a lot with you guys. So thank you for that.
Yes, Marco, we are a decent bunch of guys. We help each other quite a lot.
Totally. Probably sometimes the challenge for me is the time zone for this kind of flight, but anyway, we try to do that.
We need to move back to Spain. Marco?
Sorry?
I say you need to move to Spain, then it will be less of a problem.
Yes.
I believe that will sort the problem big time.
For sure. We'll try.
Are you originally from Spain or South America or one of these places?
No, I'm originally from Venezuela, but living in Mexico.
Okay. That's good.
I just need to talk to Wi-Fi for a minute. I'll be back.
Awesome, Scotsman, that sounds good. Then go and fetch that plugin and copy it over again once it's done.
Yeah, and if he needs help, probably I can help also in case needed. If he can share the screen, we can probably follow quickly.
Olaf, no, the weather on the VA webpage does not auto-refresh, first of all. It's only refreshed when you refresh your page, and a lot of guys make that mistake, so then they think it doesn't match. That's the first thing. And secondly, it comes from real world. It's a real world website that gets drawn into the VA. So what you need to do is be very careful. Check the METAR in explain versus the METAR in any external source, not just in our VA, any external source, because it can be out by half an hour or an hour, and then you get the wrong information. So make sure date and time correspond for the thing, and that the METAR in the sim is the same as the other one. So technically the one in the website is to be used as a guide, not a be all and end all. The guide should be fair enough within an hour or so of using it, but fair is not 100% accurate. For 100% accuracy, the weather in your simulator is always the one that wins. You can't go against the weather in your simulator. So just always make sure. But it definitely is a real world system. It's not into the simulator in any way, form or shape. We just incorporate it into the VA. Yeah, no, well, that's how ASPX works. OSXP works that way. Oops. Olaf, be careful, don't use full stops. If you use a period, the full stop, the dot, it crashes the system. This AI is not clever enough to distinguish between that and a website. So I do apologize for that, but just don't use periods, full stops. Now, when you have a character, a full stop, and a character, it doesn't matter what it is. The silly program sees it as a link, which is really stupid. The Russian bots that attack us every now and then, they've actually come up with a plan. So they put some letters, then they have a space, then a dot, and some letters. And then it doesn't, bomb you out. But for some reason, a letter, a dot, and a letter is a big no-no for this thing. And no need to be sorry, it's just that's a flaw in the design. But it's the best I've got at this moment. So. We've got Liverpool Tower.
Yeah, I just missed him. He must have turned on after I parked up.
Yeah, he came on like 2 minutes ago. got runway 27 is active. Yay. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, 737, I made the logo on an online service, and I bought it from them. I can't recall where and stuff like that. I'll have to go check my records. The other day they contacted me, in fact, 2-3 months ago. It was around about Christmas time, maybe just after Christmas. I can't remember now. They actually offered me exclusive rights on the logo. Now, when you buy it, there's certain terms and conditions and stuff that comes with it. But I mean, I've got full use of it. I paid for it. I finished the design basically on the website to make it my own and all. So there's a certain component that they don't own. It's part of me. But what they wanted is they wanted to charge me $300. And then what they do is they take it off their website, so someone else can't use the basic picture and then put it on. I just smiled. I said to this guy, man, if I had $300, I'd go buy something else with it. You know, it's not. I don't think it's worth $300, even though he's my logo and all. $300 is freaking month salary for some people. Man.
Yeah, but Nico, that's the new company business, because in the old days the copyrights regulations stated only papers and pictures, but now they are in digital form as well, and they are called MPGs.
Yes.
MPGs. So if you buy a license on the MPG, no one else, it's your work. No one else can sell it and do stuff with it either. You own the copyright.
No, I understand. I understand where the difference is between what I can do and they can do and not do and all these things. The issue for me is $300 for a logo is just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I fully agree. Then you have to have a business also that's covered those.
Yeah.
So it's worthwhile doing it, but it rarely is. It's mostly for more famous photographers and artists. They can use the MPGs, but for others it's not worth the while.
Look, make no mistake, if I had $300 just lying around, you know, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. But there's principles involved. There's a principle involved that it is a little bit too much. And then other thing is, I've got better things to do with $300. So unless somebody comes up to me and says, Nico, here's $300, and the only thing you are allowed to do with this $300 is go buy that logo, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, I've already got my rights. I'm already using it. It's bought and paid for. You know, I've got all the originals, but I'm not gonna spend more money on it. And I think, you know, I mean, it's cost a bundle to get here anyway. So at the end of the day, nah.
Yeah, there are a lot of MPGs companies all over the place.
737, do yourself a favor. Go to Google, type in something like create your own logo or something to that effect. You will be amazed how many companies are there that does this kind of thing.
Approaching transition.
shaky.
Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
You're welcome, David. I just thought it's easier to type it to you because otherwise I have to repeat it like a few times. The guy who makes it is Benjamin, and that's where the penny comes from. Liverpool Tower, good morning, Skymatix 001. Switch. Good morning, Tower, Skymatix 001, we'll report when established, Skymatix 001. I switched the frequency here on the radio. I switched it here, but it never latched on the iVayo app. I wonder why. It went to the frequency, but it never turned blue. That's weird.
Localizer
radio
capture.
altimeter.
Glide slope capture.
Did you use the Ablesoft radio?
I played with it earlier to see that it switches, right? But when I did it now, when it had to count, it switched the frequency in the plane. You could see the frequency is correct.
Flaps 2 set.
But when I looked at the client, it didn't go blue. So I had to go back to Unicom and then change back in the iVayo client to make the connection. Which is strange.
Ah, so it changes in the iVayo client as well.
It does, but it didn't make the connection. That could be a bad connection, could be many things why it didn't work, but yeah, we'll play with it, Krister.
Okay.
Cabin crew,
that's great.
Take your seats, prepare for landing.
Skymatix 001, are you established?
Yes, sir. Just established on the ILS 47, Skymatix 001.
Skymatix 001, substance to HSD, unit 11 knots, runway 27, your clear to land.
Flaps
27
15
clear to land,
set.
Skymatix 001.
Flaps 25 set.
30.
Flaps 30 set. Ready for landing checklist.
Thousand feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
Approaching 27.
Cleared to land runway 27.
400. 300. Approaching decision height. 200. Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse unlocked.
Just not the center line, but that was really. You know what? I'm missing something here. I'm really missing it. Experialistic. I wonder if that's not
60 knots. Yeah. Great landing. You are professional.
They just went over.
Skymatix 001, welcome to Liverpool. You can taxi to standard choice. There's only one aircraft on standard.
Thank you so much. We'll join our company traffic. So thank you for your service. Skymatix 001.
No problem.
After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
I'll have to wait for Linda. Her fiddling and switch the transponder off now. So otherwise, if I do it now, she switches it back on.
I actually went in and changed her script, so she just turns it straight to
After landing
off.
procedure complete.
It's not too difficult. You can find it pretty easy. I might be able to. Yeah, I might be able to go and print screen. With, yeah, it's pretty basic. Actually, there's a spelling mistake as well when you take off. She says altitude. It's there's a extra I in the altitude. So I found that as well. Actually, the other thing I changed, I took off. You know how she messes around with the center fuel tanks. She'll turn that off at 460. Yeah, I've also edited that so that she just leaves that alone till it's 0.
Okay.
So, which is handy because I've found her just turning one off at times, which makes a real imbalance. You know, you end up with one tank drawing, one wing tank drawing.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. That sounds cool.
David, do you remember the file names for those changes?
Yeah, actually what I should probably just do is just send you the event. It's the event file, and I think the other one might be system. I'll have a look.
Oh, that would be grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, this is my first flight I've now done with the EFB on the side, Christer. With this Avlasoft EFB.
Yes.
It's bringing back lots and lots of memories, you know, from when I used to use it in the old days.
Yeah.
I haven't made up my mind yet, but it looks very nice. At least I can say that. I haven't made up my mind if I really want to have it or not. It looks very nice.
No, you can just keep the SimTulker Pro or whatever you just. But I'm using it, and I really like the taxi.
Yeah.
Taxi in and taxi out, so I really like it.
Yeah, no, I can't fault it.
Skymatix VA 1 connection.
Saves a lot of extra work.
And unless you want to
using
watch off
other
end line, you can watch this through
add-ons and stuff.
and have a nice rest of your morning.
Yeah, have a nice rest of your morning too, and thank you again for your service. I'm going to switch to Unicom 122.8 and just remain here, watch the other guy land. Thank you so much.
But then again,
stay
it's
well.
like Reggie says also, it's a personal preference. Sort of what you find the best way to work with.
There's a couple of nice things that I see. Okay, I'm going to put it on screen now for the rest of the world to see as well, which I really like.
Ready for shutdown procedure.
So where's this thing? Display capture. So this is the Avlasoft EFB, right? And there you can see that's my Iveo little aircraft. It's a bit behind in time. That's me parked already at number 1. That's David. All right, so it's very clear and crisp and clear when it comes to all your taxiways and everything. The limitation obviously is the airport needs to have actual taxiways. You know, it can't thumbsuck them because it goes and builds the whole database. So in terms of taxi, it's really, really nice. If we go to the rest of it, okay, it's now taken out the whole flight plan. It's just not here. Something that I found really helpful is over there you have your actual METAR for EGGP. Now there's a lot of information in the status bar here, and then where's that? Is the radio gone to? Why can't I see the radio? Did it close?
No, you have to press the button.
No, it's on the wrong screen. Remember, I've got 5 screens, so I had to find it. So this is the ATC ribbon, and it shows you your ATC in progressive sequence, you know. And then if you go into the I over there, you actually get the METAR. Sorry, the ATIS that the guy is transmitting. So it tells you information, bro. It gives you the whole story. So it's not a question of having to go and look and find things. So if you've watched me fly in the recent past, you'll see I always go into xEnviro, I go check what the QNH is as an example. This just makes it easy. So now I don't have to go to WebEye. I don't have to open anything else. It's just here. There are limitations. Stuff that I miss that I would ideally have, you know, which still forces me to open other windows and see other things. I'm gonna run this parallel, you know, for the couple of days that I have a free trial, because guys, you get a 30-day free trial with us. So I'm on day 28 now, and you know, I'll see what I can do and how far I can take it. There's a couple of things I don't want. The first thing I don't want is I don't want to double up my work. I don't want, you know, additional things open that takes away more resources. I've already got 5 screens. I'm streaming to you guys. I'm trying to keep my frames up so I can at least fly. And I mean, 2-3 times during the stream, my frames went down below 19, you know, and then X-plane slows down and things happen, weird things, you know. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's early days. I like what I see. I'm very used to using the previous version of the EFB, but I just have to get used to the new one, and we'll keep you informed as things go on. You know, spending $64 on this piece of software, that's going to be the last hurdle. Don't know if it's really with me having all the rest of the tools already, I don't know if it's going to be worth my while. I'll see in a few days. You know, too early to make a final decision yet.
Yeah, and that's a big thing about Ivlasoft. You are actually able to use the full version for 30 days
Yeah.
to try it out.
Yeah, marvelous,
Yeah.
marvelous.
And also during those 30 days, you have the opportunity to look around and see if you find something more suitable or for your needs and so on. So,
Yeah, I can't fault it. You know, it's doing a great job at what it does.
yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
This is Orbeck scenery, guys, by the way, and I love it. It's really nice. You know, I wanted to buy this airport for the longest time, Christer. And I never, ever, ever felt like spending the amount of money they wanted for it. And one day I got it on special for like half price. So it helped to just wait a bit. And I got it. It was perfect.
Yeah, especially with Orbix, it really pays off to wait some time if you
Yeah,
want.
they've got lots of specials and stuff.
Yeah.
There's an explained special on now. I just got the email. I haven't gone and looked, but apparently some of the stuff in explain is on special. So if you guys are interested, go
Yeah.
have a look.
I
Almost.
usually look around on a regular basis to see.
Yeah.
To see. So the other day I got Echo Sierra Kilo November outside Stockholm for a special price. So I mean, I paid 25% of the original cost. So yeah, I took it.
Okay. I see Abiolo is baking a 360 there. I think he must have been too high or something. Hey, Abiolo. Oh, he's muted. You're welcome, Steve. Now, what are these guys doing there in the sticks? Looks like two people did not make it.
They are going to the pub.
Yeah. Probably having a blast already.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scotsman. I didn't seek.
So I've got these two text files. So they're out of the Copilot main / systems folder. So that's under the plugins. That's one of the two files that you would have dropped in for Linda. Where you want me to drop them? What's the best place to put them?
How big are they?
Oh, they're 71 kilobytes and 177 kilobytes. Very small.
Put them under payware add-ons, because that's where the payware stuff goes, and then you can make a small write-up that you changed.
Okay.
Good morning, Skymatix 322.
There is one other. I've just got to track it down. That where she says flaps upset. I always think I should try and find that phrase and change it.
Yeah, Uncle John has done it many times, and he was sitting here with me the other day, and he said, "When I get back home, I'm going to change it immediately." You know.
Okay.
And then he didn't have his PC, and so it's going to take a while. I've also edited Linda quite a few times. The two things I never edited was the transponder. What was the other thing you said that you did, which I thought was grand?
This is the switching the centered tanks off at 460.
Yeah, no, there was
She's
something else.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, that's also grand. So there's three things. Doesn't matter. It's all there. It's just wow. I mean, I'd like to just fix her up a little bit better.
Yeah. There's probably quite a few things you can do. You just got to, if you knew exactly how they've written this thing, programming language, you'd be right. I'm just I'm sort of, I know enough to be dangerous, and I'm happy to trial and error it at this end and figure it out that it works. But yeah,
we'll give it a bash.
But these two fixes definitely work. I've had it for a few flights now.
This is nice.
Very. There we go. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Marco. Thank you, everyone, for flying with, and thank you to everyone watching. This was a strange stream. I'm going to mention this. I noticed that we went up to the high 20s, then we dropped down to like 10 viewers, and it's been going yo-yo all the morning. Whoever stayed the full time, I hope you got value for money and that you enjoyed it. I'm going to try not to fall asleep this afternoon and miss my evening flight. I really would like to fly. Apologies for last night. You guys, hope you have a good Sunday.
Thank you for streaming, Nico.
Thank you, Nico.
No problem. I just want to wait for Abiola to actually park next to us to get a screenshot before I physically disconnect. But I'm going to stop the stream now, and we'll talk later to you guys on YouTube. Sorry? Abiolo. We're waiting
Yes,
for
going
you.
there. Yep. We'll go there. Give me a
All right.
sec.
Okay. Bye, guys.